You sit down to do the thing that matters. Your hand reaches for the phone. Not weakness, chemistry. The reward system in your skull has been hijacked by feeds, pings, and supernormal hits your brain never evolved to handle. Baseline crashed, drive flat, work feels impossible, scrolling feels mandatory. You're not lazy, your dopamine is broken, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to fix it. First, kill the myth. Dopamine is not the pleasure molecule, it's the pursuit molecule. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge proved it decades ago. Dopamine encodes wanting, not liking. You can want something you no longer enjoy. That's the trap. It runs on two settings, a steady baseline and brief peaks above it. Andrew Huberman calls it a wave pool. Every peak followed by a dip below the line. The come down is what pushes you to chase the next hit. Now feed it modern inputs. Chocolate raises dopamine roughly 50% over baseline. Sex, around 100. Nicotine, 150. Amphetamine, about 1,000. Anna Lemke's numbers from Dopamine Nation. Your phone delivers spikes of that order every few seconds for free. The brain compensates. It tips the balance toward pain to level out. Baseline drops. Tolerance climbs. And ordinary life, the book, the workout, the real goal, starts to feel flat. You're not unmotivated. Your baseline is underwater, so you blame your character. I just need more discipline, more grit. Wrong frame. The 1998 willpower as fuel tank model, ego depletion, has largely failed to replicate. Even pre-registered studies couldn't find it. Willpower isn't the lever is the environment, and the environment is engineered against you. Tristan Harris, the ex-Google design ethicist, said it plainly. If you're an app, you turn yourself into a slot machine, pull to refresh, infinite scroll, variable rewards, sometimes a like, sometimes nothing, sometimes a jackpot. The exact schedule casinos run. Nir Eyal wrote the playbook in Hooked. Harris estimates the average person checks their phone dozens to hundreds of times a day. Not conscious choices, a conditioned reflex. You are not in a fair fight. You are one prefrontal cortex against teams of engineers, A/B tests, and a billion data points tuned to capture you. Grinding harder against a crashed baseline only feels worse. It's not a character flaw, it's a chemistry problem, and chemistry, unlike character, you can change. Now, the contrarian beat. The 30-day dopamine detox is a myth. You can't drain dopamine. It's not a toxin. Without it, you couldn't move, you couldn't focus, you couldn't speak. Even Cameron Sepa, the psychiatrist who coined the term, said the title was not to be taken literally. So, what actually resets? Sensitivity. Not the chemical. The receptor. Lower the cheap inputs for long enough, weeks, not minutes, and the pleasure-pain balance re-levels. Baseline climbs back. Ordinary rewards work again. Lemke's clinical rule of thumb is roughly a month of abstinence from the target behavior, paired with what she calls self-binding, putting literal barriers between you and the stimulus. Delete the app. Notifications off. Phone in another room. Then comes the harder rewire. Huberman's rule. Stop layering dopamine before effort. Coffee, music, a scroll, a treat. Anything that spikes you before the work teaches your brain that the reward comes from the setup, not the doing. Flip it. Dopamine before effort builds addiction. Dopamine after effort builds drive. The reward always comes after the work, never before. Add friction to the cheap hits. Strip friction from the real work. That's the protocol. Hold the line and something quiet happens. Boring becomes tolerable. That sounds small. It is everything. Cal Newport's deep work hypothesis runs on one sentence. The ability to focus without distraction is becoming increasingly rare at exactly the same time. It is becoming increasingly valuable. If every moment of boredom gets killed with a phone, The brain rewires to demand novelty. It can't sit still, even when you want it to. Train boredom tolerance, and the opposite happens. Attention restoration. Theory, Kaplan and Kaplan, 1989, shows directed attention is a finite capacity that fatigues, then recovers in low-stimulation environments. A walk, a window, silence. The task that felt impossible starts to feel neutral. Focus isn't a personality trait. It's a baseline. And while everyone else is chasing the next hit, the quiet people with high boredom tolerance just keep executing. You stop needing to feel motivated to act. You just act, which is the part nobody tells you. 5 moves. Tonight. 1. Protect the morning. Deloitte found most people check their phone within 15 minutes of waking. You're front-loading a spike before you've earned a single thing. First 30 to 60 minutes. No phone. None. 2. Add friction to the cheap apps. Grayscale your screen. Log out. Delete. Leave the phone in another room while you work. Lemke calls this self-binding. The barrier doesn't need to be huge. It needs to be there. 3. Earn it. Coffee, scroll, snack, music. All of it after the block of work. Never before. You are retraining the order of operations. Effort, then reward. 4. Single task. Sophie Leroy's 2009 research on attention residue showed that switching tasks leaves part of your mind stuck on the last one, measurably degrading the next. 1 screen, 1 tab, 1 thing. Multitasking is dopamine seeking with a productivity costume on. 5. Be bored on purpose. Newport's rule. Embrace boredom. A walk without earbuds. Waiting in line without the phone. Idle time. That's not wasted time. That's the baseline healing. Run those 5 for a month. Not a day. A month. The lazy feeling lifts, because it was never laziness. It was chemistry. And chemistry obeys protocol. You were never lazy. Your reward system was hijacked by things engineered to hijack it. Apps built like slot machines. Hits cheaper than anything your brain evolved to expect. A baseline driven underwater by design. Reset the baseline and the discipline you've been chasing shows up on its own. Because motivation was never the missing piece. Chemistry was. Stop fighting yourself. Fix the baseline. If a short brought you here, the rest of this channel is the full system. Focus, drive, the quiet edge most men never build. Subscribe to the inner edge. Master yourself first.